Greetings and welcome everyone. Anthony on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film with a brand new episode of the Terra Adventure Podcast with podcast episode 345, presented by my Morphin Megaverse Power Rangers Facebook group. Okay, so in this two-part video, or three parts because there is a lot to discuss with Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection. So 3 years and over 100 figures of the Lightning Collection later, I have seen a lot. However, I have not collected a lot of Power Rangers Lightning Collection recently after I got my hands on the Dino Thunder Blue Ranger. If you want to see my review for that, check it out now. You know, thinking back to all of the Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures that have come out recently within 3 years, most of them all predominantly being all Mighty Morphin and SPD and in space and whatnot. So I figured it was time I took a look at some of the Lightning figures that I want to see Hasbro make in the upcoming waves to come for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, and what are my most desired Rangers that I want to do. I'm going to excise any Ranger-like allies, monsters, and villains until the next 3 episodes. So this is going to be like a 4-part video about what characters from the Power Rangers Lightning Collection by season do I want to see. I am also excising any Power Rangers from the 1995 Mighty Morphin movie, the 2017 movie, Hyperforce, and Boom Studio Comics as of this time. I'm only focusing on Rangers from the Prime universe of Power Rangers I would like to see as Lightning Collection figures. Since most of the bulk and majority of all of Mighty Morphin is out, with the exception of the already rumored and soon to come out metallic armor Mighty Morphin White Ranger for Mighty Morphin. But the other ancillary figures, and even like with the remaining Ninja Ranger figures for Red, Yellow, and Pink with Catherine coming out, with Pink with Kimberly, White, Blue, and Black already out in most stores at Target. I figured let's take a nosedive of what Power Rangers I want to see in the Lightning Collection. And also be advised, most of the majority of some of the Power Rangers for In Space and SPD, most of the majority of Rangers from Zeo and In Space, is complete. However, SPD is only one Ranger down, but I'll delve into that Ranger soon as I go through the video, because there's like so many characters that I have to do by season in discussing which Rangers I would like to have in my collection. Even if I have some characters that I would like to see a re-release of, since I don't have the money to get my hands on a 2-pack of said thing, or let's say in the Psycho Rangers case, a 5-pack. So let's delve into that. Obviously, of course, we have to start with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Not just the first season, but all 3 seasons in general. Okay, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, pretty much, well, if you got the main 7 Mighty Morphin Rangers, that's complete. Although how long did it took to get the regular Mighty Morphin Green Ranger, since I know some people didn't care much for that Dragon Shield Black Ranger or the Fighting Spirit Green Ranger that was really from Dino Thunder, but it's still a Mighty Morphin character suit. But there is a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers figure in particular, since we already got the main Mighty Morphin group, all 7. You got the Ninja Rangers. You got Zack with the Dragon Shield, which was a Walgreens exclusive. Again, I said the Ninja Rangers. But I'm not going to count Ninjor. He's not a Ranger, but I'll delve into him with Ranger-like allies next time. But for Rangers, if there is this one... Okay, since Mighty Morphin has like a lot of figures, because in fact, most of the majority of, most of the majority of the populace of the Power Ranger fan base, and even for the casuals, only want Mighty Morphin. And even when I'm in that Power Rangers Lightning Collection Facebook group, most majority of posts for the Lightning Collection is mostly all Mighty Morphin centric stuff, because Mighty Morphin is always going to be the back burner and the cash cow that will carry the Lightning Collection line on its weight, which is highly understandable. Because you got, I know for someone who's a diehard who watched every season of Power Rangers, well, except for Ninja Steel and Dino Fury when I get to them, but Mighty Morphin, well, it makes sense for them to put out a bunch of figures for them, like the Prime Universe and the Boom Comics MMPR and the 1995 movie MMPR, if they even got the rights to that. But Mighty Morphin, it makes sense for them to do all of those figures all at once, because I've always wondered how much Mighty Morphin left to go. I mean, yeah, once you're almost done with all the TV show stuff, then you're gonna go into like more of the Boom Studio stuff, because there's a whole hunk load of Mighty Morphin stuff from the Boom Comics universe to delve into, and even like the Mighty Morphin teams. Even like the Mighty Morphin team for the 1995 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. And I don't know about 2017 Mighty Morphin with that 2017 movie, because, again, Hasbro failed to buy out Lionsgate. And I know how much a lot of you want that 2017 movie to be in the Lightning Collection, because if it's part of Power Rangers, then, well, I just can't say otherwise, even though I'm still not a fan of those designs. But, okay, but in specific, if there's one Mighty Morphin figure, even if it's just a re-release on its own outside of a 2-pack, it would have to be Jason in the Dragon Shield as the original Red Ranger. Now, the reason why I'm putting him on the list, because, we already had that Jason 2-pack from the San Diego Comic-Con in 2019. But if you go on Amazon, eBay, BigBadToyStore.com, and all those other places that have the Dragon, the Jason 2-pack with the gold Zeo Ranger with Jason's head and the Dragon Shield Red Ranger with Jason's head. The Jason heads, okay, well, this figure of Jason as the Red Ranger with Tommy's Dragon Shield and the Dragon Dagger, I would love to see this as a solo release, because I don't have over $300 to get my hands on the 2-pack that was from the Comic-Con. And also, if they do re-release the Dragon Shield Red Ranger, since I've seen the metallic armor Red Ranger with Rocky and the Tyrannosaurus Century with the fixed Mighty Morphin helmet for the Red Ranger, I hope for the re-release of the Red Ranger with the Dragon Shield, they should re-release and repurpose this figure as a standalone with the proper Red Ranger Tyrannosaurus helmet sculpt. Because when we got the Jason 2-pack 3 years ago, we were given that really shoddy helmet sculpt of the Red Ranger with that Tyrannosaurus visor that was still not show accurate, because it took so long for toy makers, Bandai, and even Hasbro to give us a proper show accurate Mighty Morphin Red Ranger helmet that felt more in line with how he looked on the show on screen. Because a lot of majority of merchandise, even past toy releases for the Red Ranger, Dragon Shield or not, where the helmet just didn't look accurate. So hopefully, I want them to re-release the Dragon Shield Red Ranger with the proper helmet sculpt. Even if it's just a recycle of the metallic armor Red release with Rocky. Regardless, either way, I just want to see them do that. So that's about one Mighty Morphin Ranger, since we already have, again, the main Mighty Morphin figures, the Dragon Shield Black Ranger, the Fighting Spirit Green Ranger, and the Ninja Rangers, until we get Metallic Armor White Ranger. Okay, Power Ranger Zeo. Okay, now, the thing is with Power Ranger Zeo, in my collection so far, I only have the Gold Ranger. I don't have Zeo Ranger 1 through 5 as of right now, as of this time, and even in this video recording when I last recorded this video. But the Zeo Rangers are pretty much done, but although when I delve into the villains and allies for Zeo, I will talk about which villains and allies I want to see them make in the Lightning Collection for Power Ranger Zeo. So as of right now, Power Ranger Zeo, the team is complete. So I don't think it's not worth covering this team. So therefore, let's skip that. Oh, I forgot. Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. Okay. You know, I know a lot of people when it comes to the Zordon era, you know, of Rangers. You know, Mighty Morphin, Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, Power Rangers Zeo, Power Rangers Turbo, and Power Rangers in Space. I can't believe I skipped, Alien Rangers. Oh my god, what am I doing? Ugh. Okay, so the Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, they are the most overlooked, underappreciated Power Ranger team of all time. All because they never had a full season. So what? I mean, we got the Alien Rangers in their miniseries for 10 episodes to finish up the third season. We had the Alien Rangers appear 2 or 3 times during during Zeo. And we had the Aquitar Rangers battling Divatox's forces in Countdown to Destruction in Power Rangers in Space. Then Orico returns in Forever Red and Wild Force. And then even we had like a short Legendary Ranger mode of them in Super Megaforce. And then the Aquitar Rangers appearing in Legendary Battle in suit only. So I don't even understand why. It's like as if the Aquitar Rangers are not considered Power Rangers just because they don't have power in their name as Power Rangers, when really the Alien Rangers of Aquitar are Power Rangers, but they're just Rangers that of course when the Mighty Morphin Rangers were turning the kids by Master Vile, and until they would find a way to restore themselves, restore the proper ages and turn everything back to normal. The Alien Rangers were a good fit to replace them because in order to make use of what's left of the Kaku Ranger footage. So I don't understand why is it that the Alien Rangers, and even what I'll delve into in a future video on the podcast this year, why is the Alien Ranger so overlooked? Even though Rick the Barkeep had did a old Onyx Tavern video on that, but I'll do my own spin on that next time. But I don't understand what's up with the Alien Rangers. I want to see them in the Lightning Collection as much as with the Turbo Rangers, which I'll talk about since I already talked about the Zeo Rangers a little bit and talk about how they're complete. But if there's one Ranger in the Alien Rangers of Aquitar cast, would probably in my wish list for Alien Rangers for the Lightning Collection, since both Alien Rangers and Zeo happened in 1996, would have to be Delphine, the leader of the Aquitar Rangers, the White Ranger. Now, Delphine, I wanted to put Sestro on the list, but someone already did that. Of course, Rick on the Onyx Tavern did a video about that. But on my wish list video for Lightning Collection, I chose Delphine. Because Delphine was, believe it or not, was our first undisputed female leader of a Power Ranger team. Yeah, before Jen, the Pink Ranger from Time Force, there was Delphine, the White Aquitar Ranger. I also noticed how Delphine and Sestro had the most development during their time on Power Rangers during the Zordon era, in between their miniseries and, of course, the two-parter Rangers of Two Worlds in Zeo. But the Aquitar Rangers, the only two that was very common how Sestro and Delphine were the only two Rangers that had the most screen time and the most development, if you even call it development for them. Whereas Corcus, Sestro, and Corcus, Tidius, and Orico, they were like in the back burner. They were the background, the backup part of the team, even though Orico was always front and center, knowing Delphine is the leader. So Delphine as the White Aquitar Ranger, I would love to have in my Lightning Collection. And when they do get around the Alien Rangers, and once I do complete the team, I hope she becomes the first Alien Ranger to be part of the Lightning Collection for them. Because also, Alien Rangers is technically part of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But even though they're not, they still don't have Power Rangers in their name. They're just Alien Rangers. But they're still Power Rangers regardless in spirit or technicality. Now, speaking of a very criminally looked down upon Power Ranger team, Power Rangers Turbo. And again, I've talked about Turbo and how people treat Turbo like it's not really all that prevalent, knowing the fact we've had, knowing the fact, like I said, about the Alien Rangers. The Alien Rangers is overlooked, but Turbo. Now, again, Power Rangers Turbo, it's been seen for 25 years as the most hated season of the franchise. And obviously, I know, even when I was in that Lightning Collection group, and I know for those in that group watching my video, as I shared the link to you with it, that we know a lot of us want Turbo since they gave us the Phantom Ranger. But again, when I delve into the only ally outside of it, Blue Centaurian, in the next video, that, you know, the 5 Turbo Rangers, you know, red, blue, black. Black. Ugh, I'm thinking about the Sentai. Sorry, excuse me. Red, blue, green, yellow, and pink for Turbo. It's like, why can't we get figures for them? Like, I think maybe, like, in some fan speculation, maybe Hasbro wants to save Turbo for later, even from what I saw from Toku Topic's video recently talking about how Hasbro will probably, for the Lightning Collection for the franchise's 30th anniversary next year, that Turbo would likely be the series that they'll finally get to and shift and take the Lightning Collection into high gear. Because we wasn't sure whether it be RPM or Turbo they should do, because you know, before we do RPM, we do need to do Turbo, because Turbo was our first car-themed Power Ranger team, and whether we like it or not, Turbo was a season that polarized the many, and because, yeah, we got a child who was 12 going on 13 years old as a Ranger. And, you know, all the things that happened, you know, the change of the cast in between the season, from Tommy's team to TJ. Divatox was swapped out between actresses, you know, although actress who played her in said movie of the season came back in the second half, since the actors who played her going into the, you know, since the season started up until the latter episode before the return of the original Divatox, you know, she was boring and bland. Bulk and Skull, you know, them being monkeys at first until they just wasted them the whole entire rest of the season with jobs and stuff and getting fired with jobs. But the only best parts about Turbo was TJ's team taking over and improving the show's quality and ratings, you know, ratings and storytelling, since the first chunk of Turbo, of course, was Power Rangers rating bombs. If that change didn't improve Turbo, Power Rangers would have never continued within space. And also, the show would have been canceled. So it's highly understandable why a lot of fans really, really hate Turbo. And I understand, 25 years later. But personally, Turbo is not the worst Power Ranger season anymore. I mean, I've seen worse seasons than that right now, like Ninja Steel, okay? And even when we had Megaforce and Super Megaforce and Samurai, so I've seen worse after Power, with Power Rangers long after Turbo. So I don't see how is that. But if there's one Ranger, beside the point. But if there's one Ranger from Turbo, well, I know someone would choose Justin and others, but since we had 2 Red Rangers, 2 Greens, 2 Yellows, and 2 Pinks during Turbo, if there's one of those Rangers by that color that I would love to see in the Lightning Collection, would have to be TJ as the Red Turbo Ranger. You know, what a shock, right? I mean, you guys thought I was going to get Justin, but no end of the fact, well, someone already did that in their wishlist video, so I got to do my own spin on this. But TJ, since we got 2 TJ figures for him as the Blue Space Ranger, one with him with that Galaxy Glider and the other with him facing Zane as Psycho Silver, which feels kind of pointless, but I'm still going to get that figure 2-pack regardless. But, you know, the reason why I decided to have TJ as the Red Turbo Ranger rather than Tommy. Now, I know Tommy was the Red Turbo Ranger earlier, but it would be, you know, if I get Tommy as the Red Turbo Ranger while I also get Red Zeo, yeah, even though, yeah, Tommy had the Turbo Red suit first, but the suit feels more TJ for me because, you know, he was our first black man to be leader of the Power Rangers. Yeah, quoting Andre the Black Nerd Meadows of Black Nerd Comedy with that whole first black leader of the Power Rangers, TJ Johnson, you know, and basically, obviously, I've always wanted to see the Red Turbo Ranger as a Lightning figure. Now, nothing against green, blue, pink, and yellow for this, but I really do want to see TJ as the Red Turbo Ranger, even if they reuse the same TJ head sculpt of Sulin Ward as the character, like on the blue Space Ranger figure releases we've had twice. Like, man, we're paying more for the same TJ. Damn. But if they use the same TJ head from the In Space Blue releases for Red Turbo, you know, I don't care. I want that figure because I still do, however, have that Super Megaforce Action Hero figure of the Red Turbo Ranger that I got off of eBay back in 2015. And I figured, okay, you know, since we got Lightning Collection figures for Power Rangers now and, you know, Turbo, we just got the Phantom Ranger. So I do want to see the Red Turbo Ranger with TJ's head. Now, I know some will rather prefer Tommy as the Red Turbo Ranger since we need to have all of Tommy's suits. But, nah, I think Tommy as the Red Zeo Ranger was better off. But nothing against Tommy as Red Turbo, but Red Zeo Ranger 5, was really more his whole Red Ranger suit for all 50 episodes of Zeo. And plus his many appearances after Zeo with that suit, like Forever Red and Dimensions in Danger and Fighting Spirit. Okay, Power Rangers in Space. Well, alright, Power Rangers in Space. Well, at this rate, we pretty much already got everybody from that season. We got the Red Ranger, you know, Andros. We got TJ, Carlos, Ashley, Cassie, and Zane finally. So basically, I don't think there's really any figure from Power Rangers in Space outside of the main figures I want in the Lightning Collection. I mean, although I still want the Silver Ranger really bad because right now, at the time of this video's recording, his figure is still sold out for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse's website, as last I've still checked. And, you know, and also Walgreens. I checked Walgreens, my local Walgreens here in Gaithersburg, and even at the Rockville Walgreens where I live at here in Maryland. And they don't have the Silver Space Ranger. But yeah, I can find a few Dino Thunder White Rangers they still had on clearance and stuff, but still no In Space Silver, sadly. What's up with that, man? Come on. So I have to think like Mighty Morphin and Zeo. I think Power Rangers in Space is done. So there's really not really a figure I want from that Lightning Collection thing, unless if it's a vehicle-based figure like the Galaxy Glider Blue Ranger thing. Maybe if they do a Lightning Collection release of, let's say, Zane with his Galactic Rover, maybe I'll probably do that. But or Lightning Collection in Space Silver with his Galaxy Silver Cycle. Maybe that, but you know, who knows? Because personally, we're pretty much done with Power Rangers in Space, and that's it for the Rangers. Now, out with the Zordon era, onto post-Zordon era territory with Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, my all-time favorite season, of course. Now, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy is fascinating, you know, to say the least, with the Lightning Collection. Now, Lost Galaxy Red and Magna Defender was our first two figures for this line. It took 2 years to give us the Blue Ranger and re-release Lost Galaxy Red with a new Leo head sculpt, since the first one looked pretty bland from that 2-pack with him as Psycho Red, which I find pointless and waste of money now 2 years later. But again, the Magna Defender release was good, although I had to fix my Magna Defender with his strap around his waist, because when Hasbro did the figure, the strap around Magna Defender was not colored properly. He had a black strap, not silver. But I fixed that with the Sharpie marker for that, so... You know, some of us also speculated with Magna Defender's release that was it going to be the original Magna Defender or was it going to be Mike? Now, I did have problems trying to take off my Magna Defender's helmet to put on, since I have two Leo heads. I know it wouldn't feel right having two different Leos, like one Leo with the Red Ranger body and the other Leo from that Psycho Red 2-pack with Lost Galaxy Red with Leo's other head on, to make it look like Mike. If he was Magna Defender, I tried it, but it just didn't work. Or maybe my hands are just too penis-like to take the Magna Defender helmet off my figure. Now, Lost Galaxy only has 3 Rangers left. Now, if they do Maya as the Yellow Ranger, of course, a lot of people are going to go, crazy about her. But, of all the stuff I never did care, of all the times I still don't care about her character, but I got to realize she's still a part of the team, nevertheless. And despite her being a massive fan favorite among the fan base, because, Serena Vincent is a very fan favorite Power Ranger actress among the fan base, and even her character of Maya when it comes to Yellow Rangers within Power Rangers. Now, Damon was going to be on my wish list, but yeah, since Lost Galaxy Green will be coming out sometime this year, so he's out of the question. So it's only down to only the Lost Galaxy girls of Maya, Kendrick, and Corone. But obviously, when I thought about this during my wish list before the video, now 25 minutes in, ticking into the video. So if there's one of the two Lost Galaxy girls that I would really, really love to have in the Lightning collection for Lost Galaxy, is Kendrick's as the Pink Ranger. Now look, nothing against Corone. Alright? Now, when they ever do get around Lost Galaxy Pink in the Lightning collection, are they going to do Lost Galaxy Pink with Kendrick's head or Lost Galaxy Pink with Corone's head? Because it's going to be impossible having two different blonde-haired Pink Ranger heads, because Kendrick's, well, we know that the fact that canonically we know that Kendrick's was the team that was the team's glue and the scientists and such of the group and the brains of the group. And knowing that Kendrick's, she didn't really have much of a character, but even then, even when I looked at her and Maya's characters, I never really saw them as interesting, female Rangers. But I can understand why the rest of the fan base likes those two characters, because their friendship, and then, Kendrick's being the brains and stuff, Maya being the jungle princess, and, of Miranoi. And, of course, the only character defining episode about Kendrick's, sadly, was, of course, the Swan Song episode, The Power of Pink, when her and Cassie team up to go against Psycho Pink, and also try to stop Psycho Pink from arising the Savage Sword from on the planet Rashon, and tried to destroy Cassie and kill her and destroy her Morpher, so that way the Pink Ranger powers would be no more for Cassie. But then it turns out Kendrick's was going to be the one that would save both Ranger teams in the end of her tenure initially. Now, Kendrick's, well, personally, the reason why I chose her over Maya or Corone as Galaxy Pink, Corone as Galaxy Pink or Maya, is because, Kendrick's, I wasn't fond of her character at first, but upon my recent rewatches, she grew on me. But yeah, it's going to take a while for me to have Maya grow on me too, since after all, I still don't like her character for being like, I get that she doesn't want to talk much about Miranoi, otherwise she'll get like depressed, all that stuff, and how, happy-go-lucky she was. But I kind of wish that if, keep Maya the way she was, and Kendrick's as well, Corone as well. But then again, Kendrick's, this was her costume first of all. Now, I know if we do get Corone as Lost Galaxy Pink, because like I said back when I was watching someone's live stream with Amy Miller, who played Trakina in Lost Galaxy, when I was watching a Facebook friend of mine who had a Q&A with her, who was a huge Trakina super fan of her character and stuff, and after their many years of friendship since Power Morphicon, I'm not going to say his name, but I hope you're out there if you're listening. But when I posted the question via Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film on Instagram, will it be possible if Hasbro did a Lightning Collection 2-pack of Corone as the Pink Ranger versus Trakina, the only way we can get Corone as Galaxy Pink? But, again, I've been thinking about it. And then again, Lost Galaxy Pink is Kendrick's suit. And I will always associate the Lost Galaxy Pink Ranger with Kendrix. And I know that if Kendrix didn't die, if Valerie didn't have that health problem 23 years ago, she could have still kept on with the show, her season, to the very deep end. But again, history happened, and things happened in life 23 years ago when Power Rangers Lost Galaxy was still in production until it wrapped. And then the remaining episodes aired throughout the rest of 1999, ending the 90s. But then again, but at least in my upcoming Power Rangers fan film reboot of Lost Galaxy for that thing, I'm going to do for before 2022 is up, at least for the future Power Rangers Lost Galaxy thing I'm doing, I'm not going to kill Kendrix off this time, because what happened 23 years ago with Valerie Vernon and her version of the character from the Prime Universe stays in the Prime Universe and part of Power Rangers history and canon. But the fanfic thing of mine, I'm not killing Kendrix off, so it's not going to happen again. Okay, I've talked enough about Lost Galaxy Pink. On to Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, 31 minutes into the video later. Okay, Lightspeed Rescue has a dubious cast of Rangers. I would love to have, I would love to have the whole team. They do have a good cast of Rangers, although Joel and Kelsey are still my least favorite Rangers, but they're still part of the team nevertheless. But I would still love to have them as Lightning Collection figures if they ever do get around Lightspeed Rescue. We've been waiting, even when we had the 20th anniversary of Lightspeed Rescue, but no, Hasbro was still pushing more MMPR for the line back in 2020, while we still had a mixture of some Dino Thunder, Dino Charge, or, other SPD figures in 2020, alongside Mighty Morphin stuff and Boom Comic stuff. But when we had Lightspeed Rescue's 20th anniversary, we should have gotten at least one Ranger. And that one Ranger, which is on my wish list, is Orion, the Titanium Ranger. Now, the Titanium Ranger, since he is our first American Power Ranger, American-made Power Ranger with no Sentai counterpart, he is probably, out of all of the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers, he has got to be my most wanted and must-have figure to happen. And I know Cody of House of Geek, since he is a Titanium Ranger fan himself out there in the Power Ranger fandom, but even I know I had to bring up his favorite Ranger on my podcast, even though he doesn't really care about me, and I pretty much blocked him anyway on Facebook and all that. But like the Titanium Ranger, I do want to see in the Lightning Collection. We should have gotten a Titanium Ranger or a Lightspeed Rescue character representative for the Lightning Collection 2 years ago. But they figured, maybe next year or 2024 they'll do the Titanium Ranger. Who knows? I mean, it's Hasbro's every single beck and call next year and 2024 for that. So we'll see when the Titanium Ranger comes out, because, but damn it, I do want the Titanium Ranger in the Lightning Collection too. We should have gotten him 2 years ago or last year, but hopefully next year in 2022 or in a future Lightning Collection way before 2022 is up, that we should get the Titanium Ranger. Okay, now on to Power Rangers Time Force. Okay, Time Force, we only have one Ranger, that being Wes, the Red Time Force Ranger. And, it seemed to like 2 years ago when they did Lightning Collection Wave 4-ish, because, okay, let me backtrack. Okay, so back when we had the Lightning Collections debuted in 2019 after Bandai's license with Power Rangers ended on April 1st, April Fool's Day of 2019, but it was not an April Fool's joke because Hasbro taking over was official. The first wave of Lightning Collection was, of course, the Mighty Morphin White Ranger and Lord Zed, SPD Shadow, and Dino Charge Red. Wave 2 was Mighty Morphin Pink, the Beast Morphers Red and Gold Rangers, and Magda Defender from Lost Galaxy. Wave 3 was Mighty Morphin Red and Lord Draken from the Boom Comics, Beast Morphers Blue and Dino Charge Gold. Wave 4 was Blue Zeo, Mighty Morphin Yellow, Blaze, and SPD Red. Okay, so Wave 5 was the Mighty Morphin Blue, Zeo Gold, Ranger Slayer, and Time Force Red Wave. And ever since that 5th wave of Lightning collection, Time Force Red was the only Time Force Ranger they ever released. And I don't see why the heck they haven't done any more Time Force Rangers afterwards. Like, come on, man. You got 5 other Rangers to go. We haven't even got to the villains yet, or the Cyclobots for Foot Soldier figures. But again, those figures will come next time when I discuss the villains. But just one Time Force Ranger. And knowing that last year was Power Rangers Time Force's 20th anniversary, and we only had one Time Force Ranger. One Time Force Ranger. And the rest are, what? Snapped out of existence into like the Soul Stone realm or something. And we won't get Eric, Katie, Trip, Lucas, and Jen until, what, 2023, 2024? Or whenever the next Lightning Collection wave after wave, what, 12, 13 is out and done and comes out. Like, come on. Like, you're going to tell me we're going to get a Time Force Ranger in wave 14 by the end of this year, or wave 15 next year or something? Because, man, and knowing the fact Time Force is such a massive fan favorite season of the post-Zordon era, and one of the most beloved seasons of all the Power Rangers, up there with RPM, Dino Thunder, and In Space, of course, and the original Mighty Morphin. But how come they're going to do diehard fans like me with just one Time Force Ranger? You know, heck, you could have at least squeezed out a Quantum Ranger for, like, this year and save the other 4 for next year or so. Or 2024. But damn, Hasbro. Like, why? Okay, but enough of that. But there is one Time Force Ranger that I really would love to have in my collection one day. One, you know, if you got Wes, you gotta have Jen. You gotta have Jen. So Jen, the Pink Time Force Ranger, the queen of all Pink Rangers, sorry Kimberly, is my most wanted Time Force Ranger in the Lightning collection. Okay, now Jen, since she is a huge fan favorite of a Pink Ranger, up there with, of course, no offense, Kimberly, but Jen, I really want a Lightning collection figure of her so bad. I mean, yeah, I wasn't fond of her character 20 plus years ago, but her character grew on me the more I rewatched Time Force. And yeah, Aaron Cahill did a brilliant job with her character, giving us a Pink Ranger that is not always happy-go-lucky and stuff, but rather a more direct, serious, and, you know, what's another adjective to describe Jen? Serious, tough, badass, tough as nails, militant type Pink Ranger. But I really wanted to see them. I really want, hopefully next year or whenever later this year, if they announce any Time Force Rangers for the rest of 2022 for the Lightning collection, you got to give us Jen, man. I mean, Wes is lonely without Jen. Okay? They got to get together. And so is the other Time Force Rangers. But specifically Jen, because, you know, I've always wanted a new Time Force Pink Ranger figure. I used to have some action figures of the Time Force Rangers, you know, not much on Quantum Ranger, but mostly I was more about the core group. My brother was always the Quantum Ranger, and the core group sometimes most of the Quantum Ranger, because quantum power. But, you know, I was going to put Eric on the list, you know, for the Quantum Ranger, but I decided Jen instead because, you know, I got to bring up more about the female Rangers, you know, that I would love to see more in the Lightning collection and, you know, and what I like to see. Now, since Jen had 2 different hairstyles, no, well, okay, 3 if you count that dreadlock looking badass special top secret, you know, special top secret assignment gear she had back in Reinforcements from the Future and Wild Force with the dreadlocks and stuff. But, you know, I don't know when they do Jen's head sculpt outside of her Time Force Ranger helmet. Should they do Jen with the ponytail or Jen with the long hair? I mean, you do the call because, well, when she started, she had the ponytail, but of course, throughout most of her appearances in Time Force, she had the longer hair. because in order to blend in with the time period, her and the other 4 Rangers have to, with Wes, in order for them to capture Rancic and his mutants. But they really need to do her figure. Probably give us 2 different head sculpts of Jen. Since even same going when they do Katie and her figure later. So hopefully when we get the 2 Time Force girls, mostly Jen, I really want to see them do that. Yeah. And speaking of that, for Power Rangers Wild Force. Okay, since Wild Force, we now got started. We got the Lunar Wolf Ranger, Blue is coming out. So now we got 2 Rangers of Wild Force down and the other 4 to go, and the villains, you know, the orgs and stuff like Zenaku and them when I talk about next time. But, you know, Wild Force, since this year is the 20th anniversary, you know, I was going to say the Lunar Wolf Ranger, but now that has come out. I was going to say the Wild Force Blue Ranger, but that's now soon to come out. If there's one Ranger from Wild Force that I have on my wish list for my collection in the Lightning collection for Power Rangers Wild Force, since you got another badass female Yellow Ranger, we got Taylor Earhart, the Yellow Wild Force Ranger, the Soaring Eagle. So she's definitely on my list. I was going to put either Cole or Danny or Alyssa on my list. You know, those 3 Rangers are fine, but I really want the Queen of badass, tough as nails Yellow Rangers on my list. You know, the Soaring Eagle herself. And because, you know, basically Taylor was, when I looked at her character, she was the Captain Marvel of Yellow Rangers. And, you know, if Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel in the Marvel Universe, is a Air Force pilot, Taylor, the Yellow Ranger of Power Rangers Wild Force, is an Air Force pilot. If Carol Danvers can be tough as nails, Taylor was tough as nails. So I really want to have Taylor in my collection once they ever do get around more Wild Force. Of course they will, and I do want to see Taylor likely appear in the next wave of Lightning collection after whatever the wave, the Blue Wild Force Ranger, that being Max, is in. So I think for the next Lightning collection wave they should do Taylor, but I'm not sure whether if they're going to do Taylor when she had that first hairstyle when her hair was like tied up in the back, or have the hairstyle where her hair was just straight and long, no hair attachments or anything. Like I said about the Gen, you know, the Time Force Pink figure with the 2 different Gen heads. If they do Wild Force Yellow with 2 different Taylor heads, you know, one with the hair tied up and then the other hair, you know, just being straight, long, nothing on her hair. I would like that. And, you know, that would be great because I do want to add her to my collection. And I do need to have more Yellow Rangers, much like Pinks, in my collection. Okay, then you got on to Power Rangers Ninja Storm. Alright, so Ninja Storm, given a recent tragedy with our Red Ranger, I do need to talk about the Red Ninja Storm Ranger, the Mastodon in the room, if you will. Since he is on my list of Rangers I would love to have in the Lightning collection, I was going to have Tori or Dustin or Cam, but I decided no, let's do Shane. Because personally, yeah, we know the dude had issues with domestic violence, which I know I don't condone and all of that. But, and you know, I don't like a man who puts his hands on women or commits violence against women and then took the easy way out by committing suicide, which I do not condone or support or promote. But yeah, we know that his actor was troubled years after. Well, at least he was alive with Power Rangers years and if not decades before, a decade and a half before his death and the domestic violence issue. But yeah, Pua though, you know, it's like, you know, with Cole, you know, the reason why I didn't want to choose Cole as the Red Wild Force Ranger on my wish list. Yeah, I'm still going to wait for whenever they're going to do Cole. I mean, just because his actor did a horrendous, horrible real life crime or whatever. But when it comes to the Ninja Storm and its Red Ranger, it needs to be acknowledged. I don't even know whether if when they do get the Ninja Storm, whether if they should put Shane's head on there or not. Because what the actor did in real life should not have anything to do with what Hasbro does with the toys. And, like, you know, let that stay private. Just like, you know, if they can give us a Mighty Morphin Yellow Ranger with Trini with Tui Chang's likeness on it, even though she's dead too, but at least, you know, you got Tui and her face on Trini. But, like, you don't want to put Ninja Storm Red with Shane with Pua's face likeness on it or so. Like, come on, we gotta have him in the Lightning collection. I mean, doing a Ninja Storm Red Ninja Storm Red figure without Shane's actor's likeness on it would be stupid and redundant, right? And even what Rick the barkeep on the Onyx Tavern said in his wishlist video for his wish list of Power Rangers Lightning collection figures about the two Red Rangers between Wild Force and Ninja Storm. So I just feel like, come on, man. Like, you're not going to do Shane? And if you don't, then I'll be like, well, okay, fine. Well, so be it. Because we know the guy had problems. I didn't know he had problems until his death around this month 3 years ago. But I got to acknowledge this. But come on, Hasbro, you got to do it. You have to. Just because a former Power Ranger actor did a horrendous crime later that led to him taking his own life doesn't mean you're not going to do the figure. That's like saying, you know, when Hasbro did all those Star Wars Black figures, like, they don't want to do any Rose Tico figures that, you know, they did do Rose Tico figures, but, you know, given all the crap people gave, Star Wars fans gave Kelly Marie Tran and all of that, but at least they still did Rose Tico figures with Kelly Marie Tran's likeness on that, but at least she didn't commit suicide or committed a heinous crime or anything. Like, come on, man. But still, I want to see Shane as the Red Ninja Storm Ranger in the Lightning collection. Come on, guys, let's support that. Hashtag we want Ninja Storm Red, or hashtag justice for Ninja Storm or something. I don't know. Okay, I've talked enough about Ninja Storm. Now, Power Rangers Dino Thunder. So far, we only have 3 Rangers, even though the Dino Thunder White Ranger still doesn't have a fixed helmet with the black bylines, unless you have to contact Hasbro for that. Now, Dino Thunder, we only have 2 Rangers left to go, black and yellow. Also, if you count Connor as the Jurassic, the Red Ranger in his Jurassic form, that they haven't done yet. And I was going to put the Jurassic Ranger on there, but no. Since I haven't talked about Tommy in a while, so on my wish list, much like Rick's wish list for Lightning Collection figures, I have the same thing. Tommy is the Black Dino Thunder Ranger. And, you know, again, what I like about the Dino Thunder Black Ranger suit, his suit is, in fact, one of the absolute best looking suits out of all of the entire Dino Thunder Ranger suit design. And perhaps one of my all-time favorite Power Ranger suits of all time, and one of my favorite Black Ranger suits. Because what I loved about Tommy's Black Ranger suit is the balance of all of that black with some bits of gold to the suit, which is incredible, because you know I'm a sucker for anything that has black and gold to it, except for those black and gold limited edition Zords that we had from Bandai, like the original Zords for Season 1 getting black and gold releases. But I really want to see the Dino Thunder Black Ranger come out before we do get Kira. But, you know, look, nothing against Kira, but I really want to finish up Tommy and his, you know, characters being represented in the Lightning collection. We got the Green Ranger, we got the White Ranger, we got the Red Zeo Ranger, we got Lord Draken from the comics, the Fighting Spirit Green Ranger, which was from the season, but it's still Mighty Morphin within Dino Thunder. But the Dino Thunder Black Ranger, I really want to see get made. Please, Hasbro, probably in the next wave of Lightning collection, you got to give us Dino Thunder Black. Obviously, he is my most wanted figure, probably in a potential upcoming Lightning collection wave for the rest of the year going into 2023. If not, save Dino Thunder Black, you know, Tommy as the Black Ranger for 2023. So go for it. All right, Power Rangers SPD. We are almost done with this team. We got the A Squad Rangers, despite some of the paint inconsistencies that Dawson Ryder pointed out in his reviews for the A Squad, and some other people. We got the B Squad almost. So the only Ranger from B Squad left, and plus the 2 extra Rangers. Since we only got 3 female Rangers from SPD left, if there's one Ranger from SPD that I want to get the complete, just the complete B squad, is obviously my girl Elizabeth Z Delgado, SPD B squad yellow, because now again I already got Jack, I got Sid, I'm going to get Bridge and Sky and the Omega Ranger. I already got Doggy Kruger as the Shadow Ranger. I don't have not a single A squad Ranger, but the yellow B squad SPD Ranger, we got to have her to complete the B squad. We got A squad, we need to finish up B squad because we got to have her in this somehow, because I really want her so bad, because since it took me so many years to get an SPD Pink Ranger in my possession in Power Ranger collecting, I want the Yellow Ranger next, because it's just, I'm like, what's taking so long for them to finish up SPD and give us B Squad Yellow? They gave us all of A Squad all last year in 2021. So sometime this year or next year, they got to do the Yellow B Squad Ranger. And so that way I can finish B Squad and then give us the other 2 female Rangers, that being Cat Minx as the Cat Ranger, which was just a one-off, and the Nova Ranger, which was just a one-off Ranger also. So we got to finish up SPD for God's sakes. All right, so Power Rangers Mystic Force is the next season to talk about for Lightning Collection representation in my wish list. Okay, now Mystic Force, I'm going to excise Solaris Knight and the Red Wolf Warrior. Since Udana was the White Ranger for only the beginning and the end of Mystic Force, I was really concerned about which Ranger did I have to be picky here, because of the Rangers from that team that I would really love to have in the Lightning Collection. Originally, I was going to put Chip on the list, but then I ended up with Plan Zanda instead, the Green Ranger. Okay, so, yeah, Plan Zanda, obviously, because I do want to do somewhat once a Ranger, do that, even though we did get Dino Thunder Yellow and Ninja Storm Blue. I already got an SPD Red Ranger. I just need to get an SPD Green with Bridge's head to put Bridge's head on the SPD Red body. And then I got to get either of the figures for Adam as the Black Ninja Ranger, or Mighty Morphin Black Metallic Armor form, or the Green Zeo Ranger to do once a Ranger, so that way I can do this. That's probably one way I'm going to have to do this, is because the reason why I want Xander more is because, since I haven't talked about any Green Rangers on here in my wish list, I want to do Xander. Hopefully, I hope they do him so I can do once a Ranger, and when they do Dino Thunder Yellow and Ninja Storm Blue again, since I already got a Mighty Morphin Black and an SPD Red on me in my collection, I just want them to do Mystic Force Green, and like I said, the other 2, so I can represent once a Ranger from Operation Overdrive. And speaking of Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, now, Operation Overdrive, again, as much as I still don't like the season, there's still some, like I said back last video, the only Ranger that I ever liked out of the entire Overdrive cast, despite the team were still assholes and stuff, I would have to go with Rose of the Pink Overdrive Ranger, because she was basically the only decent Ranger of the bunch. But even then, even during her time on Once a Ranger, the 15th anniversary episode, she and the other Rangers were a bunch of assholes. They want to quit being Rangers once they lost their powers and stuff. But after that, she meddled out pretty quick. But because Rose was actually the more fair, decent Ranger I actually did like from Operation Overdrive, since she did have like 1 or 2 focused episodes, or 3. But I really wish that they should have, I hope they do her in the Lightning Collection, because, she's just one of my only favorite characters from Operation Overdrive, and because I don't like Mac. Ronnie, I can't say for her otherwise. You know how much I hate Will and Dax. Tyzon is okay, but Rose, I really want to see in this line for the Lightning Collection going forward. Okay, then you get into Power Rangers Jungle Fury for my wish list. Okay, Jungle Fury, I'm going to exclude their Jungle Master modes or the Spirit Rangers for another time. And also Jarrett Camille, the Phantom Beast in them for another time as well. But Jungle Fury, while I may not like their suit designs for the core group, but when it came, I was, when I came up with this wish list before I did this video, I was in a tie and bind between the Wolf Ranger or the Rhino Ranger, so to speak. But if there's one Ranger I would like to add, I would like to have in the Lightning Collection for the season, I would go with RJ as the Wolf Ranger. Because, RJ, well, I was this close to putting Dominic as the Rhino Ranger on my list, but I feel like I'm copying somebody's video of this. But RJ is the Wolf Ranger. It's just, because we need our, representation of our first violet/purple Power Ranger in this thing. So I really needed to bring him up because the Wolf Ranger had a very interesting suit design. He was so unique in a way where it's less white on the suit, this balance of purple and black to it. And I do love that wolf helmet too, and also all the wolf and all the string straps around the arms and legs of the suit, which is interesting to emulate his RJ's wolf spirit, because I just love that suit as much as I do Dominic's Rhino Ranger costume, which is just all white, a little bit of orange and some black, but it was still an interesting outfit, and even I love that Rhino helmet for Dominic. So it was hard to tell whether if I should put Dominic on here or RJ. To be honest, though, I never did like Casey, Theo, and Lily's Ranger suits, because it's just there's something about their suits I just don't like, so I have to skip that. Okay, then you go into Power Rangers RPM. Alright, now that RPM, alright, I've been thinking about some Rangers since we have 7 of those Rangers. I was going through one of them that I would love to see in the Lightning Collection for the season. Since, RPM is a very popular season. It's a very well-beloved season because of it was darker, it was it was different from what we had before the the season and after, and then once what came after with Samurai and them with RPM. But RPM had some Ranger suits I liked. I was going to put Gem and Gemma on the list for my wish list of Rangers I would love to have from the season in the Lightning Collection. But though, if they do Gem and Gemma in the Lightning Collection, I don't know how they'll pull off the chrome paint on their figures. They'll probably just have like some basic bland metallic paint of gold and silver for their figures one day. But I figured, no, it'll be overkill. So when it comes to the core Rangers of RPM, the Ranger Series operators, my most wanted Ranger from RPM, if they ever add this Ranger into the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, I would have to definitely wish they would do, back-to-back Wolf Power with Dylan as the Black RPM Ranger Series operator. Because, the thing is, the reason why I want to put Dylan on here is because RPM was basically the Dylan show. Because Dylan had the most focus. This was the first Power Ranger season where the Black Ranger is the focus, and it's the first season of Power Rangers where the Red Ranger is not the focus, which was different about this season. And one of the things I kind of did liked about RPM, the more I rewatched it, that it was really more about Dylan. And while it was still about Vengeance taking over the universe and, killing all of humanity, that robot apocalypse, a lot of Terminator and all that, but the season was really more about Dylan. As much as I'm still irritated with the whole Dylan and Tanaya, sibling revelation stuff, copy and pasting what happened with Andros and Corone back in space, but for a Black Ranger and female villain this time. But personally, I rather, prefer Dylan in the Lightning Collection over the others, because he was perhaps the best character of the season. And, you know, it was just something about his character that clicked with me. He was a lone wolf, yeah, but he was still part of the team. Unlike a certain lone wolf Silver Ranger who was, well, how he was. But I really want to see Dylan in the Lightning Collection. I want to have him for RPM so bad because I just like his character. I really liked his storyline, even though I still don't like the him and Tanaya being brother and sister thing, which was just cop out because they copied Andros and Caron's thing in their season. But still, nevertheless, I still want to see Dylan in the Lightning Collection for whenever they get around Power Rangers RPM in the Lightning Collection by Hasbro. Trust me. Okay, now after the Rangers, by era and Wishlist for Saban and Disney Rangers. Now we get into the Neo Saban era of Power Rangers with Power Rangers Samurai and Super Samurai. Because, okay, Samurai, like, obviously, I never really, really thought that in the 11 years after Samurai happened, like, I never really gave it much of thought now after it's been a decade since it happened for 2 seasons. And, again, Samurai is still not my favorite season of Power Rangers, but we know the next season is worse. But there's only been one, I know that Mike and Emily are my only 2 favorite Samurai Rangers, although Lauren was only the Red Ranger for like 2 or 3 episodes. But speaking of Mike, Mike as the Green Samurai Ranger is on my wish list of the Lightning Collection, even though it feels like I'm copying somebody else's list here. It's very familiar. I wanted to put Emily on the list, but nah, let's go with Mike. And Mike, the big green bear ranger, with the forest, power of the forest, if you will, with his kanji symbol of the forest. Because obviously, Mike was probably one of the few things about Samurai that I liked him and Emily's relationship. But Mike would be one of the few Samurai Rangers, not Jaden or Antonio or Kevin or Mia, I would love to have. Because, Mike and Emily, again, were the only Samurai Rangers that I liked. And yes, Lauren. But Mike, I do want to have in the Lightning Collection because I just liked his character. I liked his charisma. I liked how funny he was, the comic relief, being laid back and all. So, pseudo is that. But I do have a honorable mention when we get to Power Rangers Super Samurai. Now, we do need to talk about Lauren for Super Samurai, for, any Rangers, because Lauren Shiba as the Red Samurai Ranger with the skirt and all that and boobs. I definitely, I kind of wanted, I was just so torn in between. Like, should I put Mike on the list, Emily on the list? But, well, since we're doing between 2 seasons, because, like, Samurai, Super Samurai, Megaforce, Super Megaforce. Okay, but, for, like, Super Samurai, you got the Red Samurai Ranger, female edition, since we already have our male Red Samurai Ranger, but not yet in the Lightning Collection. But hopefully, we should get a Lightning Collection one day figure of Lauren, Jaden's sister, as the Red Samurai Ranger. Since Charlie, the A Squad Red Ranger, was evil or brainwashed, we have a female Red Ranger of good, that being Lauren Shiba. So I hope when we do get Lauren, they need to make her in this, or make her the first Samurai Ranger in the Lightning Collection before we get the other Rangers. Because I definitely do want to see Lauren's figure made and stuff. Yes, Bandai America did do a obscure figure for her during Super Samurai's toy line and season, Super Samurai's toy line 10 years ago. But I do want to see them, Hasbro, do a Lightning Collection figure for her. Because I like Lauren. And yeah, she may have only been the Red Ranger for like 3 episodes for Samurai's final few episodes in its 2nd season, but I do want to see her in the Lightning Collection really bad. Okay, now we're on to everybody's most hated season of Power Rangers. Megaforce, and Super Megaforce. Now, yeah, Megaforce, well, obviously, we know it's the worst season of Power Rangers ever. It's the fandom's most despised season. The season that was a failed excuse of celebrating 20 years of Power Rangers. And what a waste it was. But even despite then, we still had some good things about Megaforce. I still like the Megazords. I still like the Morphers, especially the one with the keys and stuff, the legendary Morpher. I still liked the Ranger suits for both Megaforce and Super Megaforce. I liked Robo Knight. I liked Vrock as a villain. But the characters, well, no, I'm not going to say anything bad about the cast. They tried what they could, but it's just their characters were just hollow, one-dimensional, and just like they were just trying too hard to be like next generation Mighty Morphin. But that was the intent and the concept, sort of, if you can call it a concept, for Megaforce, to honor Mighty Morphin's 20 years with that team. And they really should have never, did a team like Megaforce to copy what Mighty Morphin had done. And that's what sucked about that team, and why I wish they should have done something better with them. And that's and again, that's what sucked about the team, was that, again, Megaforce didn't live up to what it was supposed to. And while I may not like Rangers like Emma and Troy, and of course, yeah, sure, Gia, despite her being a massive fan favorite of a Yellow Ranger in the Neo Saban era, she just wasn't an interesting Yellow Ranger in terms of her lacking substance of like a character arc. But it seems I get Ciara Hanna did her best with the character that she could. But now speaking of Gia, she is one of my few Yellow Rangers that I would love to have in the Power Rangers Lightning collection. And for Megaforce, this is Gia in her standard Megaforce form, not Super Megaforce, where everybody, even hell, of all the times I got my ass whooped in Legacy Wars when I see a Super Megaforce Yellow player on Legacy Wars. And I bet you it'll even be worse when I play Battle for the Grid soon. That, Megaforce Yellow with the tiger thing, I guess I'd rather have a Gia Megaforce Yellow figure where she was in, when she had the tiger theme before she had that yellow pirate suit, which everybody loves more than her standard Megaforce form, because we know Gokaiger is just, that influence, but no, in fact, Super Megaforce butchered Gokaiger. Of all the Megaforce figures for Gia, I would like to have her as Megaforce Yellow before she went Super Megaforce. And hopefully whenever we do get like the Megaforce Rangers in their Ultra modes, hopefully we'll get that going. And because personally, I know as much of a fan favorite Gia and her actress is, just like I said about Maya and her actress from Lost Galaxy, but Gia is exactly up there with Maya, but I can understand why the fandom loves her so much. Despite that, she didn't really have much of a character arc, but I understand her hotness and her BFFing for Emma, and her somewhat pseudo crush for Jake, or Jake's crush for her, is what made her somewhat interesting, but when really she wasn't really all that interesting at all. But still, I would love to have her as the Megaforce Yellow Ranger. I mean, to be honest though, like Super Megaforce Yellow and even Emma's Super Megaforce Pink, since I didn't really get their figures from the Action Hero stuff in 2014 or so, it took me a long hell and back try to find those figures. So now, speaking of Power Rangers Super Megaforce, for my wish list of Lightning collection figures for that. Now, again, speaking of Super Megaforce, Orion is the Silver Ranger. Since, of all the Super Megaforce suits, I love the Silver Ranger costume. I just do. And now, Orion, just like the other Megaforce Rangers, may lack a decent character with depth and all of that. But I just love his costume. Now, when they do a Lightning Collection Super Mega Gold Mode figure for Orion, that will be another figure I would love to have. But it will be I don't know if it will be complicated for Hasbro to sculpt all of the 6 Ranger helmets on Orion's Gold Mode chest piece thing. I hope they can try, because it's a very complicated thing to do. I mean, if Bandai can pull it off, I mean, Hasbro should do the same thing. I mean, if they do Super Megaforce figures for the Lightning Collection, they have to do the Silver Ranger. But I would love to have the Silver Ranger in his Gold Mode and his standard form. Because I just like Orion's, I do like Orion a little bit, but he was still an underdeveloped and criminally underwritten 6th Ranger for the Megaforce cast, even though I wanted to put Robo Knight, but Robo Knight's for a different list. Since Robo Knight doesn't have Power Ranger in his name, so I gotta excise Robo Knight out of the list, because again, we're only going by Rangers. And, again, I just love that shade of, all that, silver, that shiny silver, and little bits of the shades of the ornate trims of gold, and then the black leggings and stuff like that. So I would love to see Super Megaforce Silver in the list. Yeah, I mean being made in a future Lightning Collection wave. And because, I do have the Action Hero figure for him, so why not a Lightning Collection figure for him? Alright, now on to Power Rangers Dino Charge. Dino Charge is almost done for, the core 6. And we don't have, the additional Rangers of, the Aqua Ranger, the Graphite, or the 2 different Purple Rangers. But Dino Charge, well, while it was better than Samurai Megaforce from what I remember, but Dino Charge had, too many Rangers and too many villains and all that. Now, I failed when the Lightning Collection began. I failed to get the Red Ranger, the Gold Ranger, and the Black Ranger, but hopefully I get Pink and Green sometime this year. But it's going to cost me a tooth and nail to get Tyler, Chase, and Ivan at this point for me. Okay, well, if there's one Dino Charge Ranger, that I definitely want to have with Tyler and the rest, is obviously Coda, the Caveman Ranger. And obviously, I love Coda. I love his character. And he is one of my favorite Blue Rangers. And if not, one of my favorite characters from Dino Charge, up there with Chase and Shelby and Tyler and Ivan, Riley too. I mean, I like them all, but I like all the Dino Charge Rangers. But if there's one Ranger I would love to have Hasbro to do, well, eventually we will get Dino Charge Blue down the line, but I do want Dino Charge Blue really bad. Because even though I already got Mighty Morphin Blue and Dino Thunder Blue, all I just need is Dino Charge Blue to complete that trinity of Blue Rangers until they do any more Dino Fury figures, especially Dino Fury Blue. Because I really do want that figure really bad. I do want Coda bad, since we already have Tyler, Ivan, Chase, Shelby, and Riley out. Now we just need Coda before we do Kendall, Prince Philip, and Tyler's dad, James, and even that other Purple Ranger, Albert. Even though I don't know if they can do the old man as the Purple Ranger, even though he was just a one-off. But still, and even Tyler in his T-Rex Supercharged form. And so, therefore, I do want to see the Blue Ranger being made in the Lightning Collection. To finish up the main 6 Dino Charge Rangers. And there you go. And speaking of Blue Rangers, now on to Power Rangers Ninja Steel. Okay, Ninja Steel, it's been 5 years since that season. I still don't like it, but now I may not watch the season and what the characters were really like outside of what I've seen from what the fans thought of those characters, or what Linkara delved into in the character stuff for it in his History of Power Rangers for Ninja Steel. But personally, though, there were 1 or 2 Rangers that I liked from Ninja Steel, even despite I never saw the season in its entirety, because, I hate Victor and Monty. I I still don't like the Ninja Steel designs with all that, it's Ninja themed, but with all this other shit to it with the festivity and other aesthetic stuff, which threw me off with Ninja and even more with Ninja Steel. But if there's Ninja Steel and its Blue Ranger Preston is a Ninja Steel Ranger I would love to have in the Lightning Collection, because since you've got Coda and Preston, since they're both played by real life brothers, Yoshi and Peter Sudarso, I would love to have those two together, because again, thinking back to their Christmas episode in Super Ninja Steel, there was that pseudo Ninja Steel Dino Charge crossover in that Christmas episode. So I would love to have Preston and Coda together. Because I like Preston. I do want to have him in my collection, even though I didn't watch Ninja Steel and I didn't know much about Preston other than him doing magic tricks and stuff. But still, I want to add him into my collection because gotta have the two Sudarso brothers in the same room, in their blue outfits. Now, out with the Neo Saban era, and last but not least, our more recent era of Power Rangers. The Hasbro era, with Power Rangers, Beast Morphers, and Dino Fury now remaining. Before I wrap up, so Power Rangers, Beast Morphers. When Hasbro began their era of Power Rangers with new toys and also Beast Morphers airing 3 years ago, and even with the second season 2 years ago, despite COVID and all that, we were supposed to get the Silver and Yellow Rangers and other villains and other characters. The only characters we have so far from Beast Morphers is the Red Ranger, Blue Ranger, Gold Ranger, which I do have, but the only character from the Lightning Collection from Beast Morphers I don't have is Blaze, unfortunately. And I'll delve into Beast Morpher villains next time when I talk about villains in my wish list for that. But if there's one Beast Morpher Ranger I would like to have in the Lightning Collection, is Zoe, the Yellow Grid Battle Force Ranger. Because now, nothing against Nate not Nate, Steel, sorry. And even though they will probably do a separate Lightning Collection figure of Steel, unmorphed, and I just felt like, Steel is a robot. But Zoe, since we already got Devin and Ravi, the trinity of Beast Morphers is incomplete without Zoe, our only female confidant and confidant of the Beast Morpher Ranger Trinity, the Yellow Ranger. And we were supposed to get the Yellow Ranger and the Silver Ranger, but I don't know what's going on with Hasbro. I understand they want to push out more MMPR and all that, but we should have been done with Beast Morphers when their season was airing for 2 years. And as much as I already got Red, Gold, and Blue, Yellow and Silver, even 3 years later, have not come out. Like, come on, Hasbro. Like, I want Zoe. I want to see how you guys tackle her likeness and do her actress likeness very well. As much as I like the head sculpts for Devin, Nate, and Ravi and how they captured the essence of their actors very well on those figures. But come on. Like, y'all didn't even give us the Yellow Ranger. Like, for Christ's sakes. Like, hopefully, though, next year or so, give us Zoe because, and even Steel, because 3 years long overdue for those guys. Come on, man. And finally, Power Rangers Dino Fury. Although I'm currently not watching that season. Alright, now, I'll give you my reasons why, my friends, tonight, whenever you guys listening to me talking about this. Obviously, now, Dino Fury, from what I've heard so far, has been doing pretty good in terms of being a Power Ranger season. But I have not yet watched it, even a year and a half after it aired later. And now it's on Netflix for the remainder, and since Power Rangers finally moved away from not only Nickelodeon, but traditional television, since traditional television is on its way out now, slowly. But, Dino Fury, I know I haven't been following the season. or have I even watched it. I do have one Dino Fury Ranger from the basic line of figures, that being the Pink Ranger. And so I'm still wondering, when are they going to give us the Black and Green Rangers? Knowing the fact that, you know, Yavi and Izzy are siblings. And of course, you know, I just wonder, like, how long is it going to take to give us those Rangers in the basic line of figures? But for the Lightning Collection, all right. You know, it's going to be a shock. Who is my most wanted Lightning Collection figure for Power Rangers Dino Fury when they get around it? You know, drum roll, please. So the Ranger I want to have from Dino Fury in the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, believe it or not, is Izzy, the Green Dino Fury Ranger. That's right. Because, you know, although I haven't watched Dino Fury as of yet. Now, I think the reason why I put Izzy on the list, because obviously, you know, and especially, she is our first Power Ranger in the main universe to be of the LGBTQ community. Let alone lesbian, actually. Representing the lesbian side of the LGBTQ. That's probably why. Because, you know, I know it's taken Power Rangers 28, 29 years to give us our first gay Power Ranger. Now, but as a heterosexual, straight Power Rangers fan, I think it was time that they actually gave us a gay Power Ranger in the show. Yeah, they gave us a gay Trini in the 2017 movie. The Solar Ranger, that purple Solar Ranger in the Boom comics and Beyond the Grid is gay. So a green female Ranger in the main line of shows of all the Power Rangers canon to be gay. Well, obviously, you know, of course, if they do Izzy, everybody's going to go ballistic on her. And, you know, obviously, they have to do her. Because I can see how much of a fan favorite she is right now. Because she is our first gay, lesbian, or so Power Ranger in the TV show. Even though we've had so much subtexts and stuff of characters that may be gay, queer, and stuff, lesbian in the past in Power Rangers, but they were never officially stated whether those characters really are that. It's just they just had hints, winks about it. But hopefully, you know, and even when we get our 30th anniversary season, you know, they'll probably give us our, you know, I know that, you know, they'll probably give us more lesbian Rangers than they do male gay Rangers because, you know, whole, you know, some things like that. But, you know, even probably a transgender Power Ranger. But other than that, you know, Izzy, you know, she is on my list because, you know, when the news broke out that she was going to be gay, but again, I'll talk about that when we get the Pride Month next month, even though I'm not gay, queer, or anything. So, but I'm just saying as a Power Rangers fan and you know, who I am as a person and where I stand. But, it was time that Izzy would get the Lightning Collection treatment next before they do any of the others, like Amelia. Now, I like Amelia, and you know, and her actress, but I think it's more rather subtle to do the Green Ranger for Dino Fury next after Zato, the Red Ranger. So I think it's best they do the Green Ranger next before they do the Pink Ranger in the Lightning Collection for Dino Fury, because there's just some importance to her character that should be out there, and because, you know, I can tell everybody of the LGBT side of the Power Ranger fandom will be happy to see Izzy up in line next one day, whenever, either this year or next year, to have a Lightning Collection figure treatment. So that's all I gotta say. Oh yeah, she's the first female Green Ranger that doesn't like wearing skirts. So I don't know if you can take the skirt off or keep the skirt on. When they do that figure, you can take your pick. You can just rip the skirt off and just make her look how she always looked, because she doesn't like skirts. as I've seen from that clip from that episode of her and Yavi's debuts. So that's my wish list for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection on the Ranger side of things. So next time, to be continued with my wish list for villains in the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. I know it's going to be a doozy once I get to that. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for listening. Tune in sometime this week for part 2 for my Lightning Collection wish list on the villains. Anyway, be sure to subscribe, drop a like, share this video with your friends. Until sometime this week. Anyway, guys, to be continued, and I'll see you guys next time.